plot to drop the IQ. Fighting amongst each other over rumors that don't like you. Refurbished, trapped in melancholy with the wood ones of holly. Suggestions that obliterate to camouflage the folly. Attempted mental robbery, executed sloppily. The hypocrisy, this mockery, and walk the talk with me. Put the hands up to touch the Akasha, cause you know deep down there's something bigger than your wallet.
Sweet eternal balance of all that is good, true, and beautiful. Friends, tonight we are joined by a man who has come from living deep within the matrix control grid of eating processed crap and treating the temples of our bodies as throwaway vessels to healing himself completely and retuning his entire body to one that is thriving in every way. He is now committed to bringing you the highest quality, power-packed, nutrient-dense health support you can find on the market and feel good about. He is a man of deep heart and soul, an inspiration for us all, and a promoter of high goodness in the realm. Tim James, welcome back to Rogue Ways. How have you been?
Lindsay, I've been doing pretty good. I can't complain. Like you said, we were just talking backstage. I just got back from Mexico from the Anarchapulco trip and got to meet a bunch of people that are awake and trying to improve themselves and get out of the matrix. And a lot of them were talking about health. Charlie Robinson was down there, so that was nice. He did my intro for my talk, and just a bunch of good people. Had a great time down there.
Oh, it's super cool. Yeah, we were.
And there was lots of coconut. Sorry, there was a lot of. I like coconut water.
Oh, did you get to actually get them off of the tree and eat them and drink them?
Pretty close. I mean,
Well,
they chop them off the tree and they're dropping them off at these stands all over the place. And I mean, it doesn't get any fresher than that. So
there's nothing better than just what is the macheting off the top and just a straw in there, and yum. That's the best kind of coconut you
I
can
pretty
get.
much lived on that while I was down there. That's one of my long-term goals, is to get this regenerative farm built, get somebody else to kind of run it, and then 6 months of the year I'm going somewhere beachy.
Yeah, somewhere coconutty.
Yeah.
Oh, it's one of God's miracle fruits. Well, to my beautiful audience out there, I just want to thank you all for being here and being you, for checking out my books on the show here at rogueways.org. My one-on-one spiritual and healing sessions, my powerful orgone there in the shop. And also for those of you who are free or paid subscribers over on rogueways.substack.com. That's where all the channeled messages are as they come through, as well as other pieces. I just did a piece on Chesterton's Heretics, and more is there. There's plenty for free and for paid subscribers. Thank you again for being here and being you, for supporting the show in every way you can. Like, share, subscribe, tell your friends, your family. Go to Substack, subscribe there, and go to rogueways.org. And Tim, I do always like to start with the pointless question of the episode. And your pointless question today is, what is your favorite thing about life at this moment?
The present moment.
That is
that's
the
all
best
there
thing about
is.
life. That's true.
Yeah, that's the best thing. And then my ability to stay focused in it rather than being in my past, whatever, or in the future, two things that don't exist.
Yeah.
I think if I can pull this out of my memory banks, there was the difference between human beings and other animals is we can think of okay, if I do this action, then what's going to happen, right? If I jump off this cliff, I'll smash myself on the rock. So I probably won't jump off the cliff, right? So there's something there that's inherently good, or how I treat somebody. We can think to that second level. So what we're doing in that, being able to do that thought process, is we're actually going into the future, right? Mm-hmm. But it doesn't exist, but we can kind of play things out in our limited way with our physical mind and there's some benefits to it. It's if I do that, I could hurt myself, I could hurt somebody else, so I don't do it, right? So you can think it through, where an animal might just do something and then it's too late. Okay.
Yeah.
Now the other thing is memory. We've been given this gift of memory, again, in the physical mind. Recording, it's like a recording device. So you burn your hand on the stove. Ow, that hurts. And then you go up to the stove again, it's hot, and you start to touch it. You're like, wait a minute, I remember that hurts. I'm not going to do that anymore, right? So memory serves us, and it goes back into the so-called past, right? The different present moment. But if we're looking at future and past, then that's those are great things. But the problem that I see when I coach people is they're in the future thinking about all this crazy shit that's going to happen and kill them. Like, because there's a lot of stuff out there in the, the conspiracy world that, in the woo-woo world that's all real and true. And more people are finding this stuff out. I mean, there's still stuff out there that's not. But when you get this information, a lot of people are operating out of fear
Yeah.
of what's going to happen in the future. Now, if you need that stick to hit you in the butt to get you moving, that's fine. But you don't want to live in it constantly because you're going to literally destroy your immune system.
Yeah. I
You're
mean, that's part of
literally going to
why
destroy your
they
immune system.
that's part of
Right?
why they employed fear, in their whole psyop, or why they do over and over again is A, it's easy to control people, and B, it will degrade you. I mean, physically, mentally,
Oh,
otherwise.
yeah. It's stress. I mean, even you can go to like WebMD and they'll tell you stress will take off, like 17 years of your life. It's just right there. And that's stress. You're creating cortisol. You're creating adrenal glands to get blown out from fear. And that prefrontal cortex gets hijacked watching the news. But even what I'm saying is even not just they, but maybe some good people that are out promoting stuff, they're bringing things that are scary and fearful.
Oh, most of the shows that are in this category, this larger community that I'm a part of, are fear-based. I mean, that's how they get their audience, their clicks, and their adherence,
Yeah, and I get
mean,
it because the news channels they know that if they put good stuff on, nobody wants to watch. So maybe they'll throw in some little feel good thing like the fire department rescued this gal's cat, and that's it, But it's like, who killed somebody in your neighborhood last night, and like, I want to tune in, and like, and then who got shot, and blah blah blah, and what's this bad stuff, and this is meltdown. There's war here, and all this stuff. But all that stuff is fear. So this future thinking ability that we have doesn't serve us if we're not aware of that component where it can use it. If we're using it as fear all the time, it's destroying our immune system. We have to just separate from it and go, oh, okay, well, the world's ending. So, and I'm the perfect example of this because originally I was like, I got to get my farm going. I got to get self-regenerative because I'm going to die.
mhm.
And now I'm like completely different. I'm like, I'm going to get my farm going and I'm going to learn how to be self-reliant because I love being independent. And I just like the idea of not having to go to the grocery store and have my own power. That feels good to me.
Right.
Right.
And that's the thing to bring
Complete.
it back to every time, right? Is this empowerment. Like, what can you do? So where are you right now? And what can you do? And there's a million things actually. And like
Oh
you're
my
saying,
God.
like it becomes not about what do I fear? It becomes about like, well,
Yeah.
what do I love?
Yeah. And then the last thing on the other side of that coin is the past, so-called past, is that, I still have my dad. He'll talk about how these guys wronged him in like 1960. And he starts telling the stories again. He goes back into those word tracks and those mind tracks, and he just gets madder than a hornet.
Mhm.
And it's just like, I'm like, Dad, like, he's dead. Like, you can't get him worse. Like, what I mean? He's done. Okay, he ain't around here anymore. It's like, why are you still letting him affect you?
Yeah.
And this also goes to things like, it could be stuff that happened. Maybe there was a death in your family, or you lost a parent or a dog or a loved one or somebody you care about, or maybe you were molested. And that stuff in the past, and it's carrying it around like baggage and remembering it, bringing it back up and over and over and over again, and creating those feelings inside of you over and over again of fear and loss and worry and concern and all that stuff. Again, your immune system is getting taxed 24/7. So the brain does allow us to think ahead and remember things for good reason. But a lot of times what I've noticed myself and a lot of people out there, working class people, are caught up in the matrix type stuff and past stuff that's happened to us. And it's we're using it as it's a self-abusement park. I mean, that's what it really turns into. But you can change it with your belief systems.
Mhm.
Right. And you can literally change that stuff with your belief system. So that was probably a long answer, probably the longest one ever to your crazy
No,
question of
that's
the
the
day.
point of them, is that we get into these great discussions actually, and then we get to go off wherever we like to. And, it's true. And I think this is actually the number one thing that matters in the world. And I say it all the time, is healing ourselves, because that's what can actually change the world. And if we were doing that, imagine if we even started as children living in healthy ways, including the stuff we're talking about here tonight, as far as like physical health and, the beautiful products you make and all of this stuff, but also in terms of emotional wellness, mental wellness, then the whole world would be different. I mean, we are
Yeah.
so traumatized and stuck in this repetition of the trauma and these fear triggers and all of this programming. And if we could transcend that, that is literally what does change the world. That's why every master says it. That's why it's a part of every single tradition, because it's true. It's
Yeah.
within you, and you have to do it yourself.
I know there's a lot of people out there that are concerned about dying of a heart attack and cancer. I mean, cancer is just rampant, right? It's rampant. But the biggest disease of all is the disease of the mind.
Hmm.
It really is, and it's killing you.
Yeah.
And the answer to get out of it is awareness and changing belief systems and getting to a knowing that you have, that you were created by God, whatever that is for you. Okay.
Right.
Because everybody has their different things. It's God, he, she, it, the vortex, the universe, the higher mind, whatever you want to, the one, all that is, whatever that is for you. Okay. That's it. You have a direct relationship and you are an extension of God. You are another set of eyes of God. Like if God created everything, because I always ask people, is God all powerful and God created everything? Yes. Okay. Well, if they created you, then you came from God.
Yeah.
So you are an extension of God. And
Little
so,
baby God.
whoa, that's powerful. That's not something to just look over. That's like, holy crap. I'm an extension of God. I'm pretty cool. This is pretty rad. Like, this isn't like, well, I'm a loser, blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, you're an extension of God. Once you get that in your being and you understand that, oh my God, like there's some extra energy and power there all of a sudden. Maybe you won't put up with people treating you bad anymore, right? Maybe you start doing things. Maybe you get off your butt and start using this unbelievable vehicle that you've gotten. Like me, and I know because I was a mess. I was able to get my vehicle back online again a little bit better.
Yeah.
And so I can feel good every day, so I can go do stuff. It's kind of hard to go do stuff when you're tired and overweight and you don't feel good and you're in pain and your back hurts. I know, I've been there. But yeah, that having that understanding that you have this direct connection to God and you are actually an extension of God, and all the suffering and like the planet is part of God too. And we come from that, the minerals in the bones are part of the dirt, and the bacterium in the gut is part of the bacteria in the soil microbiome, and your body's made of water. That's everywhere, all over the planet. We are directly connected to God. God made the earth and God made us. And so the disconnect and all the suffering comes from the actual disconnect of the physical body from the planet, the mothership, and the disconnect, the mental and spiritual disconnect between us and our creator, and letting other people get in between us and the creator and start trying to steer us and telling us what to do. Oh, you have to do this. You have to get, poked. You have to take this. You have to do that. And it's like, I mean, some of this stuff makes sense. Like you shouldn't drive 85 miles an hour in a school zone.
Right.
Like we can use common sense. I mean, people are actually pretty smart, right? We don't really need to be told what to do. But it's just, I don't know. To me, it's just such a bigger picture, because like watching the news, it's fear. And then your prefrontal cortex gets hijacked, and then you're malleable, controllable. And people just don't understand it until you come through it. I just hope that something I say wakes one person up, because I was like, I really wanted. I didn't know that what I didn't know.
Yeah.
And if you knew that you didn't know something that you really wanted to know, how soon would you want to know about it?
Well, that's what's weird to me. Is
now.
it seems like, I am like that too. And it seems like so many people like fight knowing, and they don't want to know. And they're just in this cognitive dissonance, and they're in this denial, and they'll almost defend to the death their delusions. And that's one of the things we have going on. But this is almost like a fear addiction they have, right? Like they are just, and if they have to poke a little hole through that layer of dissociative delusion, then it's terrifying, because now their whole life will have to change. What they think about things will have to change. What they say to people will have to change. How they feel about themselves in the world will have to change. And that's a lot, right? And you and I know, working on ourselves and working with our clients, that people heal in layers, and they heal all the layers at once in a way, right? And we just keep healing more and more. But it's like, as you're healing your mind, you're learning this new information, emotional stuff is happening. As you're healing the emotional stuff, your physical body's purging stuff, and then your spiritual body. And so it's like it's a big mass of trauma at this point, and some people are just like in death resistance to it. But I think that's changing. A lot of people are coming back online, like you described for yourself, right? And people are coming back to, I think, the light and wanting to know more, and it's pretty hopeful, actually.
Yeah, and I think the most important thing is, as people enlighten, and part of just enlightenment is just lightening up on yourself. Quit being
Literally,
so freaking hard on yourself.
lighten up.
Like literally, that's the first step, right?
Yeah.
But this fear stuff is important. I actually taught a master class down there to Anarchapulco called the Fear Detox. And it's because I was watching people. I literally wrote the class out like I was like, I'm teaching that class. And I wrote the title, the subtitle, and then I wrote like 5 bullet points and I went and taught it. Because I teach this stuff all the time
Yeah.
to my private one-on-one coaching students. And
Right.
it takes a while to get them going on it, but then they get it and they're like, oh my God. But there was a lot of speakers down there that was like good, clear stuff, but fear.
Yeah.
And then I heard the people talking at the booth or off to the side, and they're saying, "Oh my God." And I'm just like, wait a minute. Like, this is not good. Like,
is not
people need to
empowering.
know it's good. Yeah. You need to be empowered by the information, not put into a fear state.
Yes.
And it literally destroy your immune system. It could be the tipping scale where you start getting cancer and you don't. Like,
Right.
literally. Okay.
Yeah.
This is not woo-woo BS. In fact,
No.
when I went to the institute, they said, we treat you, when the first time before I knew all this stuff, they said, we look at you like little fragile eggs.
Mhm.
And we throw you up in the air as high as we can, and we let you come down and crack on the concrete. And that's where the healing begins. This is an
Oh, yeah.
emotional healing. This is going to be an emotional detox, not just the physical stuff's easy, changing your food, having you put wheatgrass juice up your butt, doing all these things that they do at the institute to help people heal cancers and fibromyalgia and all this other stuff. But once you start cleaning up the body of all this old, dead, rotten gunk that's in your intestines, and then you clean up your cells, and your cells start get vibrating, and your mitochondria, which we're going to talk about today, starts knocking out the ATP and giving you more energy. All of a sudden your whole being starts vibrating more towards your light literally increases. Like, your light literally increases. We'll talk about that today.
Yeah.
Like, we are living light beings.
Yeah.
And you start illuminating yourself, and you start changing channels. And you understand, like, oh, I was on channel 2. And then as you get illuminated, you're like channel 3, channel 4, channel 5. And you're like, holy crap. And I've been changing channels for 14 years now. Things
Mhm.
that I thought to be true turned out to not to be true.
Yeah.
And then I was like, whoa. And some of it was cognitive dissonance. I had some hard times letting go of some stuff,
Yeah.
like Trump. Like, he was saying all the right stuff, and I'm from Eastern Oregon, and it's like, I give him a lot of money. And then I called him up and I said, I want my money back. And I got a lot of it back, because he said he didn't do it. He didn't do it. He didn't do what he said he was going to do. And I said, I was not supposed to be on this auto ship thing.
Yeah.
So I got some of my money back, but
Nice.
anyway, so the fear thing's a big problem. Another big issue that I see out there that I want to bring awareness to, Lindsay, is that nobody else is going to solve our problems.
Yeah.
This is nothing ever. I looked up in history. I've been studying this. There's nothing in history that's ever been good for the working class people, top down.
Right.
Ever.
Right.
Okay. It's always working class. It's always bottoms up. End of story, period. So this whole Maha movement, like you said earlier, it shouldn't be that. It should be make you healthy again. Make
Mhm.
yourself healthy again. That's what
Yeah.
the movement should be.
Get your
That
shit
means
together.
you have to,
Right.
you have to do it.
Yeah.
Because at the bottom line, it's like, I can't make you choose to, buy underwear that's sprayed in chemicals or not. You're going to have to pull your wallet out and vote with your dollars. That's where the real voting is happening right now. It's
Yeah.
still viable. And if you don't know what you're voting on, if you're buying toilet paper with chlorine in it and wiping your ass with it, well, you're putting chlorine in your body. If you're
Yeah,
still putting your children in swimming pools with chlorine, it's a toxin.
It's
You're
gross.
killing your kids. I mean, if you know about it, isn't it kind of like mild murder?
Yeah.
Or if you jump in the chlorine pool, aren't you committing a very soft form of suicide? Because aren't you killing? Yeah. Well, I grew up with it. I didn't know any better. I had no idea. But now
Right.
there's no way I will get into a chlorine pool. And I'm just giving you guys this as kind of a shocking one little example, but it's everywhere.
Mhm.
So no, I'm sorry, I won't come to your workouts. I'm not gonna join your workout company or your gym because you have a chlorine pool, and I'm not gonna let my children breathe that crap. Do you have another place around here that's got a saltwater pool, or cleans their pool with ozone and puts hydrogen peroxide in, kill the algae,
Yeah.
breaks down into oxygen? That's what I'm gonna do. And then you go, if you find that, then you go there and
Yeah.
you give them your money. Then the other place is like, well, shit, we're losing business. Let's get rid of this chlorine pool. And then they get rid of the chlorine pool. And then maybe they'll get you next time or get somebody like you. That's how you change stuff.
Yeah.
You vote with your dollars. We had it on the end of our booth. Vote with your dollars on the tablecloth.
It's also the perfect version of decentralization, right? And which is the only system that's ever going to work.
Yeah.
It's the way the universe works. It's the way bodies work. It's the way everything works. And so the more decentralized we are, the better we're going to do And that means you have to take care of yourself, and also
Yeah.
that you have to take care of your community, or at least help create your community and be connected to your community, because your community is actually the local government, right? In North
Yeah.
Carolina, when all this flooding happened, everyone was so upset that the government didn't do anything. And I said, when has the government ever done anything for you? I mean, what did you expect to happen actually? I think when you get to this point of view where you're self-empowered and you realize that you're the only one who was ever coming to save yourself, then those types of expectations fall away anyway. And you realize, yeah, if there's an emergency, the people I have to rely on are me, and hopefully some of these people who are right in my physical proximity, or no
Yeah.
one. There's no one else. Like, you can't hope for someone else to fly in and drop money and drop supplies. You have to figure out what you're going to do. And what was beautiful, again, on a hopeful note, is that people did that in North Carolina. They came out and built roads for each other. They came out and did like just selfless, endless labor. And they're still doing that for each other. Amish people are building hundreds of houses for people to move back into. Government's not going to do that for you, but you can do it for you, and your community can do it for you.
Yeah.
And that's also another way of voting with your dollar, not living in fear, living empowered, and realizing I don't even know what the government's here for, honestly, but I mean, I know what they're here for, but it's not to help me.
You know, I think when the Constitution was put together, it was like there's been government forever. So they're like, well, if we're gonna have a government, let's have a good one. When the reality is, like what you said, is like, I live in Eastern Oregon. Like, I can walk from 10 minutes. I'm in the woods.
Yeah.
There is no government for any wild creature. There's nothing. Why are we doing this? It's all fear-based. Well, we
Yeah.
needed to protect ourselves from the frickin' the gangs down in Mexico. Well, just imagine in the borders. I think the whole thing, like, this is a redneck Eastern Oregon guy. The whole thing with borders and all this stuff, it's all bullshit. It's like, we have one planet, we have a human species. People are flying all over the place and having sex with other people from other races and having babies and raising wonderful families. I've been all over the world. All working class people want to do is have a family and have a pleasant life.
Yeah.
Go on vacation, do some things, create, and watch their kids. Like my buddy, I just saw him, like, his whole life right now is watching his daughter. She's a starting point guard for Oregon State University. He just wants to. I go, what are you going to do next when she's done? He's like, I don't know. Just wait and see. He also likes golf. He's playing golf. It's like, we played baseball when we were younger. I enjoyed baseball. I really like doing baseball. I know girls in my school that played all kinds of sports. I knew some of them that were good at knitting, some of them that were good at, I actually did knitting for a little bit. I thought it was fun. It's a lot of work. Especially, those big quilts. I mean, good Lord, those things are worth like $2,000.
Yeah.
Like, if somebody takes time to build a beautiful quilt. But I mean, if we were just spending our time doing, all working class people were just doing that, like making quilts and saving our water and cleaning doing all these things and raising chickens and going to baseball games, who the hell's got time to kill somebody?
Right. Like, who's going to war?
And then all this stuff, all this stuff is the gangs and the shootings and all that stuff is the end effect of a broken nuclear family.
Yeah.
Let's get the families back online. Let's go to the root of the problem. Let's get the soil fixed. Let's clean up our water, and people start buying stuff that's actually good for you. I'm good at teaching people this stuff, like, because I've been nerding out for years reading labels and stuff, and now I don't even read them anymore because I can look at them and I'm just like, oh yeah, it's all bullshit. It's like, it's
this is too long, so clearly it's bullshit.
Yeah, just gone. If you see the word enriched, like, you should not walk to the door. You should run as fast as you can, move your lymphatic system, and get the hell out of there, because that means sprayed with chemicals. It's not enriched. And this is all children's cereal, pretty much, unless somebody's got a brand out there that's good.
So sad to watch kids eat anything. I was a teacher, and school lunches are disgusting, and what kids
boxes
bring to class.
Of death.
Yeah, well, and they're bringing in like Monster and Ho-Hos and shit for breakfast. I'm like, dude, I don't even know. I mean, I know our bodies are amazing is basically what's going on, because you should be dead otherwise.
Yeah, but
it's
like, it's sad. It's sad. I was on the airplane, Lindsay, coming home, and I got up. I went to the bathroom, and I'm just like, it's nice and smooth flight. I'm just going to stand up. I'm just going to stand here. I stood there for an hour doing some little bit of yoga stuff. And then this guy gets up and he's got his little son in front of him, and his son is overweight. And I'm looking at him and he's got a belly and he doesn't look that good. And I'm just like, I got to say something. They went to the bathroom and I'm like, how am I going to approach this so he doesn't punch me?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, hey, man, where are you from? I started talking to him and he's like, oh, I just adopted this kid and he's got some issue and with his genes and he doesn't, he can't lose weight, and that's his brother, and his brother was skinny, but the dad, like, obviously he needed some help too. It's obvious, because if you don't look like a wild creature, if you can't see your ribs and you're not fit, then you need to change, or you need some help, because what I'm telling you is it ain't gonna end well for you in this polluted world we live in. Too much pollution, too much stress, too much food that's void of nutrients, and that combination is a toxic soup for a crappy short life. That's what's happening. And so I'm like, hey, man, I said, I'm in the health industry. I noticed he was a little overweight and stuff like that. And I can just tell stuff. And I'm like, I just want to help you. If you're open to it, this is my website. You can hit me up. Like, I'll do a free coaching session with you, kind of kick you guys off, get you going down the road. But it's breaking my heart watching this kid.
Yeah.
Like this little light, this little extension of God. And he's already in this little, prison of about 25 extra pounds. And he's little.
Practically doomed.
He's 9. Something like that. 10 years old.
Yeah. Well, and hopefully he's not eating public school lunches, but not to be expected.
That was probably one of the best things that came out of COVID, besides a lot of this awareness, is that a lot of people started homeschooling.
Oh, it's so beautiful. It was homeschools and gardens and backyard chickens were like just all exploding. And I was like, dude, maybe we are going to make it.
Yeah. Last year I built a 50 by 100 foot chicken run. We got a dozen. Got one rooster, Johnny. My son named him Johnny Bravo, and I got 11 hens.
I love it. And you've got your hat. Is it a Stetson?
No, but I'll probably get a better one later.
Man,
so this one I can beat up. This one I can beat up a little bit. I've got one really good straw hat that I wear for summertime events and stuff like that, because it's hotter then. This thing's hotter than hell, so it's wintertime. So.
Real good hats are hot as they'll save your life though. There was this guy who got stuck out in the desert for like 3 weeks or something. He survived because he caught rain in his Stetson and could drink it because it's like basically watertight. But this is not an advertisement for Stetson. I just want one. So if anyone wants to gift me a Stetson, or Tim, feel free. Well, I'm sure we're both accepting.
Okay. All right. Hey, little fun fact since we're bringing up hats.
Yeah.
You guys, has anybody ever heard the term "mad as a hatter"?
Yes.
Okay. So if you haven't heard that term, you can look it up, "mad as a hatter." And the hat makers used to go crazy because they used to brush the felt with mercury.
Or
but
lead,
now it's
right?
okay, and they go mercury, and then the mercury would screw. It's the second most toxic substance on the planet. I mean, your body does need a little teeny tiny bit of it. All those elements in that weird little elemental chart that they put, which is not the real elemental chart, but you should have a little bit in you. And but it's anyway, so it's poison. And like my grandma, if a thermometer broke, she'd take boom, she's out of there. She knew how bad that stuff was. So the hat makers would lose their mind. They would literally go insane because of working with mercury. Yet now it's okay to put in dental amalgams and stick it in your mouth. Totally fine. Don't worry about it. Nothing to see here. Please disperse.
Oh, and then inject it into your child. What is it, like 82 times before they're 18 now as well? And
aluminum.
And aluminum. Monkey cells.
Actually, we have something that's very exciting we'll have to talk about, because we just got some tree samples back on some lemon trees and some avocado trees down in California. We put our Water Hero system on. And it's up on our website right now, but we don't have all the data. We're building out all this information. I just threw it up there because we've been kind of pre-doing some stuff, and the inventor lost his child at 24 months old. And he's probably so he's going to be probably taking some action with the hospital. It's just a complete shit show. It's been 2 years. But anyway, but we got the samples back on these plants, and the nutrition in a month and about a week went up 100 to 150%. Cobalt, zinc, manganese, copper, but the aluminum, Lindsay, went down 400%.
Wow.
400 in the tree. We were just like, what the hell? This is a big deal.
Yes.
Right. So if you guys have studied, and Lindsay, I don't know if you're teaching this, you probably are, but I years ago, I was studying Dr. Richard Blaylock's work, who was a neurosurgeon who turned health nerd, right? got woke up, and he's like, he's like, all this, they're spraying us with nano-sized aluminum particles.
Yeah.
This is when talking about chemtrails was not in vogue. Okay.
Yeah.
Basically, this guy was ostracized, and he's so
Right.
smart. I mean, some of his surgery that he does, the techniques are still being used today on brain surgery. He's a pretty
Wow.
smart guy.
Yeah.
And he got into nutrition and stuff, and he said that aluminum is actually going up the olfactory nerve through the nose into the brain and leading to Alzheimer's and dementia and memory loss. And when I read that,
Yeah.
I was like, what? I'm like, we got to find a solution for this. And I talked to Treadway, our formula. I was like, I don't want to get Alzheimer's like my grandpa. There's no way I'm going to have a physical good body, and then we're going to mush my brain up with aluminum.
Right.
So I don't know what it's going to do on the human, but I do know that water system pulled it out. It's pulling it out of trees and plants.
Right.
So this is really exciting stuff that we've got cooking over here. And
Well, it's super exciting. Yeah. So this is the water system people can purchase, for example, from chemicalfreebody.com.
Yeah. Right now we just have the handhelds, the 3/4 inch for people that have one bathroom, and the 1 inch for people that have like 2 bathrooms or greater. And they're inline water units, and they actually reduce the surface tension of the water. They convert. Now that this is, we've been doing tests. We have lots of tests going on right now because I'm just trying to understand it, because it's this restructuring device. It's over my head. I've been
it restructures it too. Yeah, we've talked about structured water on the show as well, and I have a machine that does that too. But this is something you would actually put into your whole home would have this.
Yeah. So what it does is it changes the bond angle from 105.4 to 120, making it a hexagonal shape. Now the cool thing is in 2019 I did ayahuasca, and I can go grab my vision board, and one of the things that came out of that was water is sacred.
Yeah.
Like literally, and I'm like, I got to get really excited for some reason. Water's always been a big thing for me. And guess what? Freaking this thing makes sacred water.
That's pretty cool.
Here we are 6 years later, and I'm just like, it's happening. And the other thing I got was Herbs Heal. Right now, we already had our herbal line of products from Dr. Treadway, but two things that came in my ayahuasca download was Water is Sacred and Herbs Heal. And it's 2 of our main products. I got to go back and look at that, because we have a nano silver line now. I'm just trying to think, where did that one come from?
Yeah,
but
it's in there somewhere.
Anyway, so the water thing will take calcite, which is a hard form, and aragonite, harder forms of calcium that are very angular, and convert them to the hexagonal, more rounder, softer form called vaterite. It's a much more usable thing. I think it actually has something to do with ATP too. I don't know if your viewers are going to be able to see this, but I was telling this to a lab. I got a hold of this lab guy, and he's got a lot of really cool testing equipment. And I was telling him about this. We were talking about something. We were actually on a different subject. He's helping me with some stuff for molecular hydrogen, because I'm doing tests on molecular hydrogen machines right now too, because I'm going to blow the top off the industry on that stuff here pretty soon.
Cool.
All right, so check this out. If you can you see this?
Yeah.
So what this guy did was hopefully you guys can see this. This is like calcites and aragonites, and he took it in level 3 testing water, which is like pure. It's like minus 18 ohms. If you were taking a bath in it and somebody threw a hair dryer in there with electric, it's not going to zap you. It's non-conductive. We're talking ultra pure water. Then he added back in minerals, and then he put some on a slide and let them dry, and that's what you see there. Then we go to this. Oops. Then we'll go to the one right afterwards. Same water. Here, let me click on it. And then that's what it looked like after it went through our structured water device.
Beautiful.
Look at the difference in that thing.
Just flowing and concentric. Yeah.
It looks circular, but it's hexagonal. And when I told him that, I said it changes calcite to vaterite. He's like, that's not possible. I was like, well, supposed to do it. So I think you're going to get ready to get surprised, because it's a big deal. And he called me up. He's like, I can't believe this. Like, this is not supposed to happen. So this is like the third thing that we've seen with this water system that's literally goes completely against science. It's like it's not supposed to be happening.
Yeah.
There was something else I have it in my notes. I could probably find it, but Joseph said once this stuff gets into trees or plant material, it's not supposed to come out, and it's coming out. And it wasn't the aluminum, it was something else.
Yeah.
But anyway,
it's like all these things they say are impossible, and they say, it can't be done, including, if you tell a kind of mainstream health practitioner that you're detoxing heavy metals from your body, they're like, you can't. And I'm like, well, I did.
Well,
So
maybe you
what?
can't.
Yeah, maybe you can't.
I
Which
mean,
goes
it's
back to
there's foot spas out there that actually work. Most of them are garbage. I will agree. Most of them are just trash, garbage. They don't work. But
Yeah.
there's 2 companies that have the good foot spas that do work. It's really
Mhm.
simple. They test the water. They put your feet in it. You do a session, and then they test the water again.
Yeah.
And it's like, if the lead's way higher and you feel better, it looks like it worked.
Yeah.
Right? But just because if it turns brown and green and looks weird colors, that does not mean that it pulled anything out of your feet at
Right.
all,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, some of those are just it's like the, ear candle thing. My friends used to do ear candles all the time, and I was like, "Yeah, whatever," and then I had, like, an ear issue, and I did it, and I looked inside, and I was like, "Look at all that wax," and then I saw that you can burn the ear candle and have the exact same result even if it's not in an ear. So I was like, "Oh, what a ripoff," right? Like, so yeah, some of
Yeah.
these things are obviously ripoffs and obviously not true, and it's sad actually because, all these things we're talking about where some people say this isn't possible, you can't reduce aluminum in a tree, or you can't do this, or this shouldn't be changing from that to that, and you can't detox heavy
Or
metals, and it's like, but you can, but also you do have to be careful because there is a lot of bullshit out there and there are a lot of liars. So, you
yeah.
have to find things you trust, people you trust, research you trust, and science is changing all the time. Whatever science says is, the way we understand the universe, we've shown again and again and again that we don't, and that there are things that transcend physics and all of these laws. So it's always worth questioning.
Well, and here's the point of where we're super duping ourselves without even knowing. And that is, we have this gift of God, this vehicle that we've been given. We're an extension of God, and the power of the mind, right? The
Yeah.
power of the mind, where this stuff is so documented now so many times. Like, doctors are talking and they say, yeah, she's going to die tomorrow. And then the lady dies, but they were talking about another patient,
Or
right?
they find out that person didn't even have the disease they said that they had or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, crazy stuff. So
Mhm,
I'm talking about here is placebo. This is
mhm.
why people can take a product that's crappy, that doesn't work at all, and they get better. And they're like, it worked for me. Well, that's going to happen 30% of the time. That just goes to show the power of you,
Yeah.
because you did that.
Yeah.
You literally created that healing because you thought it was possible. You literally rearranged your molecules in your body and you healed yourself. That's
Absolutely.
what placebo is. And nobody's really talking about placebo is like your power. Like, this just came to me. I've never talked about this before. This just came to me. I'm very excited right now.
Yeah, no,
I am
it's true.
super excited about this download. This is really awesome stuff. So, and this is where the confusion is, because, well, I took that and I felt better.
Mhm.
And so they associate it to that,
Yeah.
right? So that's something that's really cool, is that you have the power to heal yourself. And something that was so in my face, because I used to be one of those people, was believing is seeing, or excuse me, seeing is believing. I had to see it first until I went through layer after layer of that. Now I've actually had some stuff where I'm like, I believed it to be true, and then it just manifested. I've
Yes.
actually had that stuff happening. And so we were talking, and I got to think back what we were talking about. We're talking about the placebo effect. We were talking about the power. So they have people. I got to go look this up too, because I saw it, that are multiple personalities.
Mm.
Literally, guys, go look this up. There's studies on these people. They have multiple personalities, and this woman, as Jane, has stage 4 breast cancer. But when she's Lindsay, she has no cancer. Like, and they do scans, and the cancer's gone. Like,
So
and
wild.
she changes back to Jane, and she has this breast tumor again.
Yeah.
What the WTF?
Because your
Okay,
body is an
whoa.
expression of your consciousness, not the other way
Whoa.
around.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That little thing right there talks about, there's so many topics wrapped around that thing. But the one takeaway is it's the power of the mind,
Mhm.
right? Whether she believes she's Jane or Lindsay, it doesn't matter. Like, it's the, she could have multiple, it could be crazy. Some people have like 7 personalities.
Mhm.
But the point is how can you answer that? Somebody that's a doubting Thomas, like I used to be, or a doubting Tim. It's like, you got a breast tumor, and then tomorrow you take a scan and you're Jane and it's gone.
Yeah.
Okay, explain me that. Okay, there's some crazy stuff going on that's amazing and it's way over my head, but I know that stuff's happening. And it's
Yeah.
happening on the daily. It's popping like popcorn all around. And The reason why you're not seeing it is because you're on channel 2.
Yeah.
Raise your frequency. I mean, I'm raising my frequency. And that's all I want to do is raise my frequency. I want to glow. I want to see what other channels, what other stations am I missing? What other cool stuff is walking around right in front of my face that I can't see right now? That's where the change is going to come from, not from a place of fear, out of excitement. Like, what is possible with my life? What can I learn? What can I accomplish? How much can I contribute? Following my joy, following my excitement, my passion, all these types of things. That's the track to get on.
Absolutely.
It's a lot of fun.
Oh, it's way more fun. It's way more fun. It's way healthier. And it's funny. My dentist actually had my mercury removed from my tooth, which I would have done years ago, but I didn't think I had any. And so I guess I was just not looking far enough back in my mouth. It was like the farthest back tooth. And so I did. So I finally got it taken out, thank God, and by a biological dentist with all the right protocols, blah, blah, blah. But my dentist was saying something, or maybe it was his assistant, but they said something like, yeah, well, stress can really exacerbate this and that. And they were like, have you been stressed? And I was like, no, I have almost no stress. I mean, I have less stress than I've ever had in my whole life. And I had an immense amount of stress in my life, like more than I think that most people have had, but I don't have any right now. And she laughed and she said, yeah, but I mean, really, have you been stressed? And I was like, I wasn't joking. I wasn't lying, but people are so stressed out and they're so living in fear and they're so, right, just like, again, addicted to that and stuck in that, dissociated from themselves and their true selves, that they can't even imagine a state in which they don't have it. And I'm like, this is going to break you. You have to at least get to the point where you can imagine not having stress or fear, where you can imagine a future that is bright and free, where you are, like you were saying, going up channels or increasing your frequency or just getting happier, just feeling better, right? You have to be able to imagine this, or are you ever going to be able to achieve it? Maybe by accident. But like, holy God, it's faster when you can imagine it. It's so much faster when you can see it, when you can at least say to yourself, like, this is possible, right? I'm moving that direction. Yeah. This is the power of the mind too, right?
This
And
goes
so
back to one of my mentors, and he said that human beings are the masters of limitation.
Yeah.
Like, everybody in the galaxy is watching us, basically going, holy crap, they sure are rough on themselves.
Oh, why are you pretending you're so small? Like, yeah.
Yeah, masters of limitation. The way I look at it, again, it's like, if God is the sun, and it's shining unconditional love towards us, that's the light. That's where all the power comes from. That's where I mean, we are at our core. That's what we are. Our core being is going back to that unconditional love state. It's it. Period. And because you've seen like so-called mean, grumpy people, and then like a little puppy comes up to them, and they completely become a different person for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hey, how's a little fluffy? You can't get mad at a puppy.
Yeah.
Or a little 3-year-old kid. Like I did this, actually. I guess my grandma was just a tyrant. And like, she was just like, everywhere she went, like, I saw her yell at people in the grocery store one time, and I was like, whoa, that's kind of weird. But I was a little 3-year-old kid, and I ran up and I hugged her and told her I loved her.
Aww.
And done. Like, broke her heart, just crushed through all that bullshit, that shell that she had wrapped around her heart, just smashed it into pieces. She couldn't possibly be mad at me.
You were like, you need this medicine. Let me help you.
Yeah, I had no idea what I was doing, but
You did.
She loved me. She let me get away with anything. Like, whatever. But I mowed her lawn. I took care of her. I mean, but she always had ice cream in the fridge for me. So me and my buddy Neil would go over there after middle school every day and just pound the ice cream. Yeah, it's probably hard for her too, because I didn't know she was so broke. So, but she always had ice cream in there for us.
That's so sweet.
But yeah, unconditional love. So if you're not feeling that, it's all just BS. It's clouds. You just have a bunch of clouds it's all societal conditioning. And then your parental conditioning that came from more of the societal conditioning. And if you can just start brushing the clouds away, the sun's always there. It's always shining. It's never going to stop. You just got to get, it's really about those belief systems, and just changing how can I put this? I think the way to put it is that everything in life is meaningless. That's what it means. Everything in life is meaningless. It's the meaning that you attach to it. So everything in life is a neutral prop. It serves both double duty. Literally has no built-in meaning. You get to assign the meaning to it. And whatever you're assigning is how you're going to, it's how you're going to experience life. The glass is half
Absolutely.
full, the glass is half empty. There we go. Right. So
Yeah.
I hope that little kit right there, that little sharing right there, that should be a good understanding for people to, it's really helped me a lot.
Yeah.
So it's how you respond to everything is what matters.
It's true.
That's it. It's how you respond to it. You know, and I watched people last weekend. I watched people, you know, I know people, they got stuff going on in their life and they're just, I haven't seen them in a while and they just start barfing up all this negativity and blah, blah, blah. And then I'm just like, stop, like, stop. Whoa, you were telling me this a year ago and you're still on that track. I'm like, you must be exhausted. You know why? Because I'm not living it and I'm tired of hearing it. I think it's time for you to change the channel. You're going to keep, if you have all that crap inside of you, well, what the hell do you think is going to be on the outside? Your world is going to experience whatever you got going on inside of you. When you understand that you are an extension of God, you've created every bit of your world, then you can take your power back on everything. Everything. Yeah. And then you own it. And it's like, okay, now what am I going to do about it? And that now you're all powerful again. And you're like, how did I get duped? It was all a big smoke screen. It was all a bunch of clouds.
Right.
So that's what we try to do in our coaching program, is get people to brush the clouds away and realize their true natural value, that they are unconditional love, start reframing things, start looking at things differently. Be very careful of what you say to yourself, your thoughts and your words. Oh, I'm a loser. I can't do that. Really? Like, we do this. I do this exercise all the time with clients. Though I'll hear them make a statement. Like, one of the benchmarks we test people on every 2 weeks when we meet, on a 1 to 10, how well did you chew your food? 1 to 10, 1 poor, 10 excellent. You know, one you just swallow like Garfield. 10, you chewed it till it was completely liquefied and then swallowed it. Because it's a big deal, guys. I'm telling you, like, I've had people change their life doing this. It's the first step in digestion. And it takes a while. It takes a while to, hey, how'd you chew your food? And this guy's like, one of my first coaching students, never forget. He's like, wow, man, in the last 2 weeks, I've probably chewed my food really well. Maybe, I don't know, Tim, maybe 3-4 times. And we'll think about this. 2 weeks, 14 days, 2 meals a day, right? It was 14 days. That's 28 meals. And he chewed his food really good 4 times. Even on a scale on how we grade ourselves in school, that'd be an F-, right? But I said, dude, hold on a second. And how do you feel saying that on a scale of 1 to 10 energetically? That I did a terrible job. I only did a 4. I was a 4. How does that make you feel? 1 low and 10 amazing. Like 1 shoot me, I want to kill myself, and 10 the best I could have possibly. And he goes, it makes me feel like a 2. I was like, okay, it makes you feel like a 2 when you say that sentence. I said, maybe you could try something like this. And I said, I'll show you how to do it. And I'll ask myself the question, and then I'll answer like I'm you. It was like, hey, John, how did you do in the last 2 weeks chewing your food until liquefied? Well, you know what, Tim? I tell you what, before I met you, I didn't even know I was supposed to do it. And so I can't believe it, but out of the last 28 meals in 2 weeks, 4 times I remembered and I did a damn good job. And I've been like, dude, let's throw a parade. This is movement in the right direction. This is exciting. This is wow. And and it was like, how do you feel about it? He's like, yeah, I feel great. I mean, I did it 4 out of 28 times. I'm on my way, baby. Now on a scale of 1, now I said, now take that and say it in your words. And he did it. And I go, now how do you feel about chewing your food? He goes, I feel like a 9. And I'm like, what changed? His words. Nothing else changed. But the frequency that he created completely changed the chemistry in his body. Mm-hmm. And the man who was, I'm a loser, blah, 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 is aging at a fast rate and is susceptible to disease and disorder. Whereas the guy that changed on how he responded to the situation and what he got out of it, he's a guy that in those last few moments of talking, he didn't age at all. And he is a guy that's going to heal and have more resilience in his immune system. Period.
Wow.
End of story. Nobody's going to debate me on this. They want to. I don't even care. Don't do it. And guess what? If you don't want to do this, that is a valid choice, and you have 100% right to go do it, because that's the freedom of this experience. There's dark and there's light, and you can choose either one, and you can do whatever you want. I'm gonna go over here. That's what I want to do.
Right.
Choice is, and in fact, if you look at the universe, it's 50-50, literally. It's right down the middle is choice. So if you look at that, then the universe, choice is positive. The universe is slightly just drifting in a positive fashion. Hop in, go with the flow. Like, just get in that and understand that we have to have dark. Why? I was coming, Lindsay, I moved back here to Eastern Oregon to take my parents, take care of them. And I'm walking out to my trailer, and I look up at the stars, and I'm like, oh my God, like, I'm not in Portland, Oregon anymore. I can actually see the sky. The sky is black, and the stars are brilliant light white, and the stars are gorgeous. And guess what? I couldn't see those stars without the darkness. This is part of the experience. The dark, you can't run away from the dark. It's going to be there. It is a valid choice. The light is also a valid choice, and you get to choose. So all these things, like your podcast and what you're doing, if there wasn't darkness, you wouldn't even be doing it. You wouldn't be experiencing all this growth. You wouldn't meet me. You wouldn't meet all these other amazing people that you see. I threw myself in that category. You meet all these cool people. I didn't mean to do that. But you see what I'm saying? You're growing, you're expanding, you're learning. It's like, and you're moving away from the darkness. You're trying to move to light yourself, and you want to say, hey, everybody, look what I'm finding. Maybe you want to try this too. And people are resonating with that. And they're like, yeah, I like this gal. She's got good stuff. She's healed herself. She's getting healthy. She's helping people. I want to plug into her. That's amazing. All that wouldn't be possible without darkness. So why live in fear? There's crap out there, but it's supposed to be there. It's an opportunity. It's resistance. It's a thing to push off against. We can grow, and you can't have light without dark. We can't have this experience without both sides of the coin. So get over it. All right. Just get over all this stuff. Stop living in fear. Enjoy the ride, and realize that you're an extension of God, and you kick ass. There we go.
Absolutely true. Yes, you're speaking the Rogue Ways language. And I do want to also highlight some of the things that you have on Chemical Free Body, because before we go, I want people to know about it. I know I have your sauna, for example. It's been one of the best investments I've ever made. I use it multiple times a week. For a while, I used it every single day for over a year when I was really deep in the healing. And it's been one of the best detoxing and supports of my health that
That's
I've had
awesome.
that whole time.
I'm so happy for you. I love
Yeah.
it when people get that little sauna.
Yeah,
It's
that sauna's rad.
inexpensive. You can take it with you. It's 2 to 3 times more effective than all the far infrared saunas. And what she's talking about specifically, guys, is a far infrared sauna. Far infrared is the vibrational frequency of water in nature. So your body's mostly made of water, so it has the ability to increase the vibrational frequency of your water and your red blood cells, which are mostly made of water. Dilates capillaries and veins and increases function, reduces inflammation, and it gets nutrients to areas and dormant areas. And like, boy, it really changed my life. My face used to sag on, I think it was lead. I had lead poisoning. All this lead came out of me for like a year. And my left side of my cheek was kind of down a little bit, and I kind of went down. It still kind of does. I look at it, and other people are like, well, I can't really tell, but I can. And I think it might have been from lead. I don't know, but it's going away. And I think it was that, because I had lead come out for a year. So I'm so happy that you have that in your house. It's a game changer.
Oh, it's awesome. So that I've really enjoyed. I've loved your it's like the green something, power green or something. And then
it's called Green 85.
There you go.
Yeah, I had a gal today. She's like, you shouldn't call it greens because this is not in a category with all these other greens, and it's getting lost and confused. You should call it life juice or something. It's amazing.
Life juice. I love that. Yeah. It is amazing.
I have another
really
friend. He's like,
quality.
it's power greens. It gives me power. It's like,
yeah.
We built it, and we don't spare expense. And Dr. Treadway formulated it. It's based on 10,000 years of biological engineering, system science, a traditional Ayurvedic medicine. I mean, the sourcing, the raw materials, the enzymes are intact. I told him I want as close to a fresh pressed juice as you can make in a dry powder for me, if I can't do a fresh juice. And that's what it is. And it just works. I mean, people, if you will give it at least 90 days, I guarantee you, in fact, I do guarantee it. I have a double your money back guarantee. It's going to work. Right. But it's like, your body will start craving it literally in 2 to 3 weeks. And if you don't like the taste, squeeze some lemon or lime or put it in some tart cherry juice or unsweetened cranberry juice.
Oh man,
Just get
I've
it in
drank
you.
some pretty gross things in the pursuit of health. This tastes delicious compared to most things.
Yeah,
It's
a
like
lot of people
very
actually
good,
like
actually.
it. I mean,
Yeah.
but here's the thing with greens, if they do taste delicious, boy, you better have your hackles better be up on the back of your neck if you understand the industry, because it's hard to get good, high concentrated quality stuff like spirulina and chlorella and dandelion leaf and algae and wheatgrass juice and oatgrass juice. To get that stuff to taste good, it's almost impossible to do it with natural flavoring.
Yeah.
Ours, we did a bunch of them. We came back with, we used raspberry extract a lot and monk fruit, a little bit of that. And that kind of masked it. It was the best one of all the ones we trade. Now, I will say this. We actually have it at a Flavor House right now. We're working on 2 new flavors.
Oh.
To be announced. But I don't know, because I haven't got the samples back yet, because if they're not good, I ain't doing it. But most of these people are putting like synthetics. If it says natural flavors, by law, that means that 90% could be synthetic.
Ugh.
And in most cases, it is.
Right.
So if you have a green juice and it tastes like, oh, this is amazing, boy, you better talk to the company and find out and make sure they didn't put some cat poop in the brownie recipe. That's all I got to say. Because if you're taking this stuff for your health, my shirt says ingredients matter. You guys can see that? Okay. They do matter. And nobody would want to eat cat poop, little teeny tiny piece of cat poop in a brownie. And why the heck would you want to put a toxic chemical poison in a health drink?
Yeah.
Yes, and you might feel better, 30% of you, placebo. And some other people might get some benefit because you're drinking more water and getting a little phytonutrition. But what could you do? Again, back to voting with your dollars. That's why I always tell people, try our stuff. What about AG1? Well, try theirs too. I already did. I like yours better. Okay, well, try this one. Try that one. Try them and see which one works for you. Maybe ours doesn't work for you. Maybe the other one works better. Maybe you want to mix it in. We have some people that rotate a couple different companies.
Yeah.
Just to get a little, because there's a little bit different stuff in them. I'm all about that. We're just here. We have great stuff. Sorry. We have good stuff. And it's like, it's part of your toolkit. What's on chemicalfreebody.com is my 14 years of trying to figure everything out. And I'm never going to stop.
Yeah.
I'm never going to stop learning. I'm going to keep improving. And if people want to join me in that, we're actually giving away pretty much all the education for free now. Like there's ways now to get in my inner circle for free and have a full-time coach that you can pop in once a week and ask questions. Like, I don't know any other supplement companies that are doing that.
No. No, and I love your nano silver too. And the nano silver gel in the chat, Anna Mayers was saying, has helped her unclog her pores. So she uses it as protection before any makeup goes on. Even if you're using high quality makeup, you still don't necessarily want it going into your body if it doesn't have to. So that's a really interesting way to use it. But that has so many applications and uses too. That's super high quality. And I love too that on Chemical Free Body, you guys have the packages people can grab. You have subscriptions people can do. I want to suggest people use the link right below wherever they're watching or listening. If you are going to go check some things out, grab a few things, start heading that direction. Because that link also supports the show. So
what is your discount code, Lindsay?
I don't know. I think it's Rogue Ways.
Probably Rogue
Ways. It used
Ways,
to be Rogue Ways.
Okay, then it hasn't changed.
Yeah. Okay. So right below use the link, and then you can use the code too and get yourself a little discount. But again, if you've got the savings and you want to, I really do suggest the sauna. Again, I've got it. I think it was like 4 years ago, maybe. I don't know when I got that from you, but I have used it ever since religiously. And it's still going
and
strong.
Just so you guys know, on the saunas, there's a lay down unit for people that can't set up, or paraplegics, or people with just issues, or if you just the deal is, if you lay down, you're in more of a parasympathetic nervous system mode, so you're more in a rest and digest mode. It might be even better for you. Right?
Oh, I have back problems, and sitting is not, like, I've been standing this whole time at my standing desk, so sitting is not.
Oh, you actually have the lay down unit?
Yeah, I have the lay down unit, and I also therefore use that time to meditate, because why not, right?
Yep. That's what we do. That's what we do with that. We teach that with a lot of people. Get off your damn phones. Yeah. So there's a silver one it looks like a little stove, and there's a black one that's about the size of a little stove. Those are the exact same units, except they have a different, heavier cover. But if it comes financially, don't worry. You can get the lay down unit or the silver model. You're going to get pretty much the same benefits, so don't worry about it. the owner of the company had the silver one for like 20 years. I'm like, why don't you do the black one, the flagship? He goes, why? He's like, this one works better. Finally, somebody on his team's like, you do the black one. So he's like, oh, okay. But the silver one was still fine. He'd been using it for like 21 years.
Right. I
Right.
expect mine to continue for much longer. I mean, it's already been so powerful. I mean, because my Johnny uses it too, right? So it's being used. I don't even know how many times a week. And here we are many years in, and it's like still strong.
It's
Yeah,
a great
it's
helper.
wonderful.
It really is.
Yeah, there's so many things there. So I hope people go check out chemicalfreebody.com and use the link right below to do so. I appreciate you for doing that. Use the coupon code, get yourself the discount. And Tim, is there anything else you want to bring people's attention to, or?
Well, my show, Tim James Unleashed, it's free information. It's a podcast I've had. I've been doing weekly since the fall of 2019. We've had a lot of good people on there, and like yourself, and I also do some free coaching on Facebook at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, free 30-minute Q&A. And now we're going to start opening up the inner circle. So stay tuned on that. I'm creating a new offer now for people that can come in, try our products out, and get me free as a coach for life.
Nice. I love that. Yeah, check out the show, check out the site, use your discount code. And what are your final thoughts you want to share with people before we say goodnight?
You had me on to talk about mitochondria, so I think next time we should probably do that.
Well, hey, everything we talked about actually does support mitochondrial
True.
health. So, to be fair, we kind of did it, but yes, anytime.
Yes, we did. So, well, I'm just very grateful for you, and I'm grateful for the listeners that are tuning in and took their time. If you're still listening, that's awesome. I hope that you really got something that resonated with you, and remember that we're in this physical reality, so you actually have to take physical action to change things. So that's why my motto is change yourself, change your world. So change means action. Like, you have to take action. So do something, take a little action, drink some more water, chew your food, get the sauna, try our greens out. Maybe you learn to start responding differently to stress. Maybe that resonated with you. Maybe you realized you've got some past traumas. Maybe you have some unknown traumas. Maybe you could use some help with a practitioner. These are all the types of things that we want people to learn so that they can take action, solve their problems, because we need people to be healthy and happy. That's it. If everybody's healthy and happy, nobody's going to be fighting these wars. Why are we spending trillions of dollars of our tax slave dollars for tanks and guns? Like, we shouldn't need none of this. Like, literally, I think we should just get back to planet Earth and people and just hanging out. That's it. Just hanging out and having a good time, raising our kids and smiling. And if you want to travel, you can travel, and you don't have to worry about passports and scanners and, all this crazy crap. It's like, it was funny. I went to the airport and they were like, yeah, just look in that. And I'm like, no, I'd prefer not to. I don't know. I'm not. And she's like, oh, okay. Okay, you can go. You don't have to look into those things. I get there half an hour early. I always get a pat down. Any food and supplements I have them take. Do not put that through my x-ray. Don't do it. I have cancer. My doctor told me not to do it. And it's a true story, because every day we have cancer cells. And who's my doctor? Me. I'm my own doctor. There's actually a book called Be Your Own Doctor by Ann Wigmore. Check it out. It's around a long time ago. You can find a copy of it. So anyway, I could go on for hours and hours, but I'm just excited. I hope that people will can get as excited as I am. And if you need a little help, then that's what we're here for. My team and I are ready to love on you. And we're really good at incubating people out of the get-go and getting them about 80% of their problems gone. And if it gets a little difficult, then we help them put their team together, their healing team. We're pretty good at, I'm like a general contractor of health. Get your nurse practitioner, your, whatever you need, your colon hydrotherapist, just whatever you need for your situation, put it together, and then so people can feel good and heal.
I love that. Well, fellow travelers of the path, it is a beautiful thing. And this has been your analog electric concentric dose of wisdom, according to the general contractor of health, Tim James. Tim, thank you so much for being with us tonight.
My pleasure.
Well, our bodies truly are the temples we were commanded to build, and it is our duty to do so. No one else can do it for us, and no one is coming to save us from ourselves. We must relearn the ways to help our body thrive so that we can experience creation as we were meant to, as full participants. until you take back what was given freely and make it the sacred temple it is waiting to become. Travel well, aim for balance, and always look inside first. Mwah.
Grab any pencil, give it potential. I'm heaven essential, get existential. I don't flip flop, I hip hop, and eventually you'll come to see the master of the sentence. I've come to be, come to Beavis, come to Butthead. I want to make the streets flood, the blood red. I'm the sickest, I'm the wickedest. I'm the one you call when you need to flip this, rip this place down to the fucking studs. Blast so bright among all these fucking duds. They sit back thinking that they can rock with me. You like a rookie cause you rock so sloppily, and what you think you got ain't so hot to me. So take it back to the lab for a lobotomy, bitch. What you think you got? You ain't Biggie, you ain't Tupac. Too many MCs on the street right now. Some of them can't take the heat right now. Some of them don't know what hip-hop's about. Aboard your ship and turn it on now.
I'm guessing that's the bad guy?
I'll bust you up with my arms crossed, projecting omega beams. You could wield the meta piece, smoke it faster than bodega weed. Keep dropping the dang shit, we blow the loudest. Dangerous as West Bank housing. Yeah, I'm bloody arrogant, cause I've been tearing shit before rappers mumbled and flaunted their merriment. Virulent resident pointed out embarrassments. When it comes to the masters, I'm pale in comparison. Enough about my tone, call me Yeti or unknown. Using my government can slug us to the fucking dome. Style remains lethal without a reboot or a sequel. You're in our cathedral where nothing is peaceful. Weasels get skinned and hanged up as trophies. I'm one ugly motherfucker when I go full re-roll these cadavers in a rug and dispose of them. Won't see us closing in, watch me explode the sim. Beam this red shirt back to its maker. Leave this dread work to those with the flavor. They ain't feeling what this culture is all about. Aboard your ship and burn the bitch down.